Have you fallen down the cottage industry rabbit hole yet? Well, if not, buckle up, Alice, and click on over to the description in the show notes and sign up. Then you can get ready for the most fun induction into the cult of all things yarn and fiber. This will include, but not limited to, free yarn, free ebooks, patterns, coupons, and much more. You don't want to miss out.
You are listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts, a podcast featuring two crafty besties who love true crime and a good cup of joe.
Hey, amateur sleuths. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Heidi.
Woot woot. Here we
up?
are. You ready for another episode?
Yeah. Word.
All right.
Word to the mother birds. Hi, moms.
Hi, moms. We love you, moms.
We do.
This cup is not dedicated to the moms. This cup is dedicated to life.
Yeah, my
The
fucking
life
internet.
kicking us in the backsides.
The internet fuckers are fucking shit up. I had to block everybody else in my house, and it's a new service, and so he can't even watch. Dwight can't watch his cable without the internet, which is really stupid.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
It makes us too reliant on other people for our entertainment.
I feel bad, but he's doing his puzzles, so it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Exercising his brain.
Get him off of the screen time. So anyways, in my fancy ghost FU cup, which I love so much, by the way.
I love that mug.
Is a new coffee. Heidi sent me Oakland coffee.
Yes.
And this one is perfect because it's got a unicorn on the front. Because everything is unicorns and rainbows, guys. Especially when a unicorn is farting a rainbow.
Yeah.
That is my favorite, which I have tattooed on me. So this episode is about unicorns. But not really.
I love it.
This coffee is Oakland coffee, father of all dark roasts. And look at that cute little crazy unicorn drinking coffee.
Yes. Oh, cute.
Getting ready for his punk rock shows.
Yes.
This also is a compostable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a horrible word.
It is a horrible word.
Bag. So this will go in your compost.
Yes. And yeah.
And the coffee, it's really super delicious. I have been drinking it all morning.
Yeah.
I am on cup 3.
Oh, hey, you're a little behind for yourself.
I know, and they're little cups too.
I'm impressed.
But this is sorry.
Where's your glasses, Mama? She needs her glasses. She can't see.
Stupid.
Oh, I love it. There you go.
Such an old lady. Okay. So this coffee it reads, founded on the belief that coffee shouldn't just be good, it should be excellent.
Exactly.
Billy Joe, Mike, and Trey of the band Green Day bring their passion for delicious coffee to you by sourcing coffee that is organic, fairly traded, and packaged in this first of its kind bag.
Yes.
Because you deserve the best cup of coffee. And it's really good. It's really good. So I'm glad that Heidi sent me a new cup or a new coffee.
Yes.
Try new stuff.
See, now we can say thanks to my friend Angela because she's the one that actually sent me that information. She's like, oh my God, did you know Green Day has their own coffee? And I was like, what?
And they also, with your coffee, send really cool stickers.
Oh, no.
Look at that.
We paid for those babies. I was like, she's getting stickers.
Oh.
You needed stickers.
I do. I love stickers.
Kristen loves stickers. So if you want to send her stickers,
please
message me.
Which, did we talk about our stickers?
We have,
but a little bit, but we didn't really show them.
I think we did, but
on your cup, that's right.
I've got that one.
You've got that one.
It's a new one, so it's way better.
2 on my phone. Yes,
that one.
I thought it was just a mannequin.
Yeah, I have not even posted it to our Instagram yet. I haven't even listed it in our store yet, but it will be up eventually.
We also have magnets.
Yes, magnets are awesome.
And all of our podcast art is original artwork.
Damn straight.
Done by me.
Because Kristen's a baddie.
I love it.
And she's redoing my own logo. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I
think I'm going to try and carve out some time today. I've been working a lot on art lately. So getting back. Speaking of art, I did a unicorn painting, stitching. I was in that long dare training, and our mentor, she has a nickname, Deputy Sparkles, and she loves unicorns.
That is adorable.
So I made her really cool. I love it. I thought it was pretty unique unicorn painting.
I made a reel of it on our Instagram.
Yeah, so I don't have the art to show on our YouTube channel.
But if you want to see it, it's on Instagram.
Yay! So I worked on that. And so like I said, unicorns.
Unicorns rock.
There's a unicorn. Cute. Farting a rainbow.
It's farting a rainbow. Can we call you? Wait, can we call you?
You want to change my?
Can we call you Deputy Unicorn Fart? Never mind. Okay, carry on.
So per usual, in most of my episodes these days, which last time we recorded an episode of mine, we forgot. But
oh yeah, I was
back with my horror trivia.
Yeah, after we were done, I was like, oh
yeah, I know. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to ask her some questions.
It's okay.
So this 2001 remake that stars Matthew Lillard, who we love from the Screen series, the original one, prompted film critic Roger Ebert to claim this particular movie was literally too painful to watch. I love the movie. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's different, but
I have no idea.
13 Ghosts.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Right? But apparently Mr. Ebert
you know what?
Like it so much.
I don't ever trust those critics.
I know. I don't know. I have my own thoughts on movies.
Yeah. I also I don't ever trust anybody when they tell me you have to watch this, because then it's like hyping it up too much. It's gonna ruin it.
Yeah. This one. So it says, "No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. Name the movie."
Scary movie. Wait, was it in Scream itself?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It should have been in Scary Movie.
It should have been, because it's such a...
Oh, yeah, because that was the part where she thought it was like her boyfriend, and she was, a flirt.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't flirt with serial killers.
I mean, probably not a good idea to flirt with the person who's trying to murder you.
No.
This film, written by Quentin Tarantino about a gang of vampires in a bar, was also made into a TV series. I know you know this one.
TV series?
They made it into a TV series.
Really?
George Clooney was in the movie. And so was Harvey Keitel. And so was
oh, this was so long ago.
What's her name? I love her.
Bad with names.
Juliette Lewis.
Fucking fuck. You're gonna have to tell me because my memory is like
From Dusk Till Dawn, where they go to Mexico.
Yeah, no, I know the movie.
Yeah.
My brain was just like, what's the name? It's that old. And I'm that old.
I know.
And I think I have Alzheimer's. I think I have Alzheimer's. My little sister and I talk about this all the time because grandma had Alzheimer's. That's what killed her. And both of us are like, God, she was like, I was listening to your podcast. You were talking about how you think you have Alzheimer's sometimes.
We young people call it halfheimers. Okay, because we're not full Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
We're halfheimers.
Yeah, I'm a halfheimer for sure.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Are you
ready for this?
She's gonna kick our asses with a
scary
case.
Yeah. Trigger warning. I just said all of them.
All the trigger warnings.
All the trigger warnings.
Okay, so basically,
except no children.
Okay.
Were harmed.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So, but just trigger warning. There's a lot of stuff in here.
We're not giving our people any break from this terror.
No.
There's going to be so many cases in a row where it's just like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So when you're waiting for our next episode, just go listen to something
or watch a funny movie.
Yes, lighthearted. Just no rom-coms. We're not big into rom-coms. I mean, if you are, that's fine, but
I can't remember what I watched the other day. It was really dumb. It's really funny. Get Hard.
That actually is pretty funny. That was with Will Ferrell, yeah, and Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Yes, that movie is good.
So dumb, so good. Okay.
So, the best way for me to start this gruesome, disturbing story is through R.J. Parker. He was the author of The Basement.
Okay.
He writes, on March 24th, 1987, the Philadelphia Police Department received a phone call from a woman who stated that she had been held captive for the last 4 months. When police officers arrived at the payphone from which the call was made, Josefina Rivera told them that she and 3 other women had been held captive in a basement by a man named Gary Heidnik.
Jesus.
This is a shocking story of kidnapping, rape, torture, mutilation, dismemberment, decapitation, and murder.
Fuck a duck.
So when I say all the trigger warnings.
Fuck. Ew. This guy.
You have been warned. So who is Gary Heidnik and how did he become the inspiration for Buffalo Bill, the character from the book, and then movie adaptation of The Silence of the Lambs?
Okay, now I understand why you said so many trigger warnings because holy shit.
Now, he wasn't the sole inspiration for Buffalo Bill. The author took from various serial killers like Ed Gein and some others, but he was the basis for a lot of what happened.
Okay.
So unfortunately, this, my friends, is worse than fiction could ever be, and a real life house of horrors.
I'm scared. I'm so scared I have to crochet.
Heidi's gonna do some art therapy currently
while
listening to serial killer stories. Heidnik was born in Eastlake, Ohio, near Cleveland, on November 22nd, 1943.
He's a northerner.
Which makes him on the cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius. And I throw that in there for Heidi's benefit.
Jesus
but she probably
Christ.
already knew his zodiac.
Okay.
Yes.
No offense to the Scorpios and the Sages of the world, but y'all are fucked. Combining those two,
combining them
is the scariest.
Being born on the first day, like, and the day after.
I've got some friends that are Sagittarius, and then I've got some Scorpio friends, but I don't think any of them are females because I just don't get along with female Scorpios. That's a thing.
Yeah. Heidi's really good at astrology and birth signs, y'all, just so you know.
I mean, I'm not that good.
I mean, she's better than me. I know you and I.
Yeah.
And by the way, Capricorns and Taurus, they're the best combination, especially of friends.
Yep.
Anyway, Heidnik was born to Michael and Ellen Heidnik, and they also had another boy named Terry. So he had a younger brother named Terry, and that was before the couple divorced in 1946. They were not together very long. The boys lived with Ellen, their mother, for 4 years after divorce, but then was given to Michael, their father, and his new wife.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Heidnik claimed his father was emotionally abusive and would humiliate him over the fact that he was a bedwetter.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot behind bedwetting.
There is, especially with emotionally abused and
yes.
Yeah. Heidnik's father didn't just humiliate him and make fun of him in private. He would make him hang his urine-soaked sheets out his bedroom window for the neighbors to gawk at and gossip about.
What a fucking piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, this was like 1950, 1951 too.
It was pretty harsh.
Pretty rough, especially on boys. Like, you had to suck it up, be a man, throw a football, throw a baseball, and shut up and do your homework. And
you couldn't possibly come out as being gay. You couldn't do anything.
Yeah. I believe that in a lot of parts of the country you couldn't dance publicly either.
Yeah, fuck that.
Still, so
that's some bullshit.
Yeah, that would be really bad for my youngest, Harper, because all she does is everywhere she goes is dance. She's eating dinner at the dinner table, dancing. Like, Harper, sit in your seat.
She's a little jitterbug.
She tells me, I'm just so happy I gotta dance.
I love her. She's so freaking cute.
Yeah.
Ugh, adorable.
Yeah, she keeps it lighthearted around here.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Heidnik also, shockingly, had trouble at school and with his classmates.
You think?
Yeah. He did not like being social with the other students, and if asked questions, he would yell at them. Just like, he basically made himself a pariah. Like, he just was a loner and kept to himself. One girl, she was just striking up a conversation, trying to be nice. She asked him if he got his homework done, and he yelled at her, saying she was not worthy to speak to him.
Okay.
Yes.
Not
This
gonna be
is
friends with that
elementary.
kid.
This is elementary school, too.
I would have been like,
so.
rude. When I was little, I was just really shy, so I wouldn't have said a damn thing.
Yeah. The other kids would also make fun of his head shape. His younger brother, Terry, and Heidnik said that he had gotten his head misshapen from falling out of a tree. I don't know if that was right or not, but I mean, in pictures, I don't see what was so wrong with his head. But I guess as a child, maybe he had a large head for his little body. I don't know.
Maybe it was shaped like a football, like Stewie.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Forceps are a bitch.
Yeah. So needless to say, he had a lot of trouble as a child getting along at school and also at home. He did, however, at the beginning do well academically, and his IQ was reported at 148.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he never finished high school. And in fact, he dropped out to join the army.
Oh, shit.
At 17 years old. I almost said 7.
That was young.
That was young. At 17 years old, he joined the army.
Jeez.
And all reports show he performed well. Like his drill sergeant said that he didn't see anything wrong, or he didn't have trouble with him. He performed really well for everything. And in his school for his job, he did really well. He excelled at everything he was doing. But in August of 1962, he started having horrible headaches, and he was seen by an army neurologist. They decided that he needed to be transferred. So in October of that same year, they transferred him to a military hospital in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he received a diagnosis of schizoid personality disorder.
That's an interesting diagnosis.
I know, it wasn't schizophrenia, but it was like a combo of...
Yeah, I wonder if that's even a diagnosis anymore.
I don't think it is in the DSM-4.
Okay.
I did not look that up, so nobody quote me, but it doesn't sound like a diagnosis we have anymore. I feel like they split it up and made different diagnoses since then. Because this is the 60s, and
it was the 60s.
Yeah. He was honorably discharged from the military, so during his military time, he behaved properly, I will say.
Right.
In 1970, he learned of his mother's bone cancer diagnosis, and she was also an alcoholic, which I am talking about this because it shows a family history of mental illness.
Right.
She committed suicide by drinking mercuric chloride. Not a good way to die. And what is mercuric chloride, you may ask?
Never heard of it.
Yes. So I will tell you.
Fantastic.
Mercuric chloride is a very poisonous form of mercury.
Mercury?
Mercury.
Mirror.
It's a type of mercury salt. Mercuric chloride can produce a range of toxic effects, including corrosive injury, like internally.
Right.
Severe gastrointestinal disturbances, acute renal failure,
Oh,
circulatory collapse, and eventual death.
gosh.
Yes.
Why would she do that? That's terrible.
I don't know. Maybe it was like you could buy it easily.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why
You
anyone
could also
would take
just
it
get
for
a
anything.
prescription from your doctor real easily back then.
Yeah.
That just sounds like a terrible way to go.
It
maybe,
does.
Yeah,
Because unless you take a really good amount, it takes a couple weeks of taking it to actually die.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's
That's
not
horrible.
I know. That's why I'm like, this is terrible way to go.
Yeah.
And to add to the history of mental illness in his family, Heidnik's brother Terry was also in and out of mental hospitals and attempted to kill himself multiple times. But they never say if I don't think he ended up that way. So in our favorite month of October in the year 1971, a year after his mother's suicide, Heidnik thought it would be an awesome idea to start his own church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He did this church in his house, and he called it the United Church of the Ministers of God. He started with 5 members or followers, and initially the church had $1,500, but by 1986, so like within 15 years, the church raised over $500,000, which back then was like
that's a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it was like 1.5 million
today.
Today.
Oh my gosh.
And during this time, so that's basically how he afforded his life. I'm pretty sure he just had this church and raised money.
It's like, the things we could do if we had that money.
We could have a actual studio. Yes. Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
I've thought about that. I told my mom, if we hit the lottery, we're buying a building that has office spaces so that we can build a recording studio / Pilates studio / yarn store / rent out the other parts to pay for the mortgage.
Yep.
A lot of things.
Also, during this time, he used what was called a matrimonial service.
Okay.
And corresponded with a woman named Betty Disto by mail for 2 years before he proposed to her. And in September 1985, she moved from the Philippines and married Heidnik on October 3rd, 1985. This, however, was not to be a good marriage. He abused and raped his wife, and also made her watch him have sex with other women, often prostitutes.
No thanks.
She left him.
Good.
And she left him pregnant. And he did not know she was pregnant.
Thank God.
So on September 15th, 1986, she gave birth to a son and named him Jesse John Disto. And she got out of the marriage with the help of the Filipino community in Philadelphia to divorce him. And he actually didn't know he had a son with her until 1987 when she filed for child support.
Oh, man.
That Filipino community really helped her get out of such a horrible situation.
Yeah.
Heidnik had 2 other children as well, like I think the first one was born in 78, and then another one after that. But one child was with a woman named Gail Lincow, but the child was placed in foster care.
Okay.
And then another child with Anjanette Davidson, who he had taken advantage of because she was illiterate and mentally challenged. That child also went into foster care. So he was not very good. He's not having a good track record with the ladies and children and
putting more children into foster care. Like
far too many.
It's insane. And it's so hard to actually get approved to adopt, which is really weird.
Mm-hmm. So I think at this point we can agree that he made some interesting choices and his childhood was less than agreeable. But hold on to your butts, because this next part's going to be a wild ride, and not in a good way.
I guess those kids were lucky that he gave them up.
Yes and no. I mean, yes. They just...
Yeah.
He was not a good frame of mind. He was very sick and twisted shitbag. Now, I'm going to preface this with the reason he said he did what he did was because he wanted to create a home with lots of children by lots of women. So,
okay.
But when you look at his house and everything, it's hard to fathom that more than a normal, like, 2-parent, 2-child household could live in this. It doesn't make any sense. It's not a lavish home where you could have 10 children. It's just not.
I mean, Israel Key's parents did it in a one-room cabin.
Yes. We see how that turned out.
Yikes.
So on November 25th, 1986, Heidnik kidnapped Josefina Rivera. She was a sex worker.
Okay.
But she also had like a boyfriend and tried to do normal stuff, but I think she was a little drug addicted as well, alcoholic. And so she was picked up by Heidnik, taken back to his home. They had sex, and she was putting her clothes back on to leave because she thought, well, we've done our business. So then he came up behind her and choked her out. She woke up.
Ugh.
Yeah, she woke up with her ankles chained to a wall in his basement. And he was asleep in her lap, like his head was in her lap when she woke up.
The amount of fear she probably felt in that moment.
She tried to escape, and he got her and beat her and brought her back into the basement. So let's see. She was kidnapped. She was age 25.
Oh my God.
And then like a week or so later, he kidnapped Sandra Lindsay. She was age 24. That was on December 3rd, 1986. He then kidnapped Lisa Thomas, age 19, on December 23rd, 20 days later. On January 2nd, he kidnapped Deborah Dudley, age 23. January 18th, he kidnapped Jacqueline Askins. She was the youngest. And during this time, he had one other, but during this time of those women, he held them captive in a pit in the basement of his house.
Oh, God. This guy. He's like creating his own breeding ground, basically.
Right. And all of his victims were Black African American women. Okay. And he tortured, raped, and beat all of them daily.
The fuck?
Sadly, one of the women, Sandra Lindsay, she was the second kidnap victim. Mm-hmm. She had died due to starvation, torture, and an untreated fever. Yeah. And the reason why, so they would go on punishment and he would take away all of their privileges. He would not just chain them by their ankles, but if they were on punishment, he would chain up their arms as well. Oh, God. And then they could earn back their privileges of drinking water, eating bread, and then having like some other, like a hot dog. These are privileges. Yes.
Wow.
This woman, Sandra, the reason she died of starvation was because she refused to eat the bread and he was shoving it in her mouth. And it just, she wouldn't participate. And so she ended up dying. But
I mean, she probably wanted to die at that point, honestly. Like,
she was one that was not she was not meant. He chose women that were not
he had a type.
They were mentally disabled typically. They were, or just illiterate, and most were sex workers. Heidnik said to himself about Sandra, he said, well, got to get rid of this body somehow. So he started to dismember her body, but was having trouble with the arms and legs. So he ended up bagging them and freezing them. He stored them in this freezer and labeled them dog food. Yeah.
Gross.
It gets worse. So sorry, guys. He boiled her head in a pot on the stove.
Yikes.
And cooked her ribs in an oven. And while this was going on, his neighbors called in a complaint to the police.
Oh, good.
But not. Because unfortunately, when the police came to his residence, Heidnik answered the door and said he fell asleep while cooking a roast and burnt the roast in the oven.
Okay. And that was it? They just didn't even check anything out?
No. They just walked away, believed him.
Okay.
Heidnik then ground up the flesh and mixed it with the dog food and fed it to his other victims.
Oh, God.
And this all came out,
Did they know what they were eating?
Not at the time, I don't believe.
Thank goodness.
I think that, well, there was talks of it. So there is a really good interview. Well, it's very disturbing, and I talk about it later, but the first victim talks about her time. And she said that I don't think they knew that they were eating the meat at the time, but they knew they were eating dog food.
Right.
Because they were watching TV and one of the girls said something about, man, I'm so hungry. Even that dog food looks good. So
oh shit.
He fed them dog food, but there was this talk of him mixing in that poor woman. During this torturous time, he had one form of torture he really enjoyed, which was electric shock. So
damn.
While his victims were bound in chains in the pit, he would have them fill the pit with water. So they were standing in water.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And he would then apply an electrical current from a stripped extension cord to the chains.
He's a horrible person.
Yeah, awful human being. This one incident, he was using his electric shock, and one of the victims, Deborah Dudley, died from the electrocution.
God damn it.
The only thing that's known about her body is that he got rid of it in a place called Pine Barrens in New Jersey.
Sounds familiar.
It's probably a place where other bodies have been put.
Probably.
Yeah. In 1987, on January 18th, that was when he kidnapped his youngest of victims, Jacqueline Askins. And there are some interviews that she gives like 30 years later in recounting. Everything can be found on YouTube.
That would be the hardest thing to do, to come and like do an interview of what happened to you,
of your trauma, and then just have it like out there,
like instant tears.
His last victim was kidnapped March 23rd, 1987, and this time he used Josefina Rivera. She was also the one that was kind of in charge of the group, and he would use her to get his other girls to do what he wanted. And if she didn't help with the torture and stuff, he would beat her. So to not get beat, she would have to do the torture and he would beat the other girls. So there was a lot of back and forth on whether she was victim or accomplice. But there's no way in hell this woman was a survivor. She was a victim.
She did what she had to do.
Sadly, it is like Lord of the Flies. You take out your weaker ones sometimes to survive. And so she was used by this monster shitbag to help him. And so after he said that she did such a good job with helping him abduct Agnes, that she took that opportunity to plead with Heidnik and ask if she could go visit her family. She said, I'm going to be back. You know, I am. I'm your helper. She pleaded and pleaded. And for some reason, he agreed.
He trusted her.
Yeah. Which
I hope
was
she played him real good. Yes.
Yeah. So he agreed and drove her to a gas station where he sat and waited for her to come back. But What he didn't know was that Josephina's boyfriend's house was right there. And so she walked to his house, which was close by the gas station. And I mean, she's got ankle chain marks and just beat up, dirty. They weren't taking any baths or any, like, they were just 4 months of dirty, gross. So she came up to her boyfriend's house in this distressed way.
Oh my God.
And at first he wanted to go
beat
murder
the shit out of him, I'm sure.
Yeah. But instead, he did the smart thing and he called the cops. Officers came to her aid right away. They saw how beaten and bruised she was and agreed that they had enough evidence to arrest and detain Heidnik.
Yeah.
So during or after Heidnik's detainment and arrest, investigators went to his house and they could not believe what they found.
I bet it was so that's
So
one of those cases
disturbing.
that, like, those officers, that has stuck with them for the rest of their lives. They're never going to forget that. Never forget that. Ugh. I can't even imagine.
It was dubbed the House of Horrors for the mere fact they found women chained in a basement, starving, tortured, beaten, and raped. Yep. So those women that were left, there were 4 total that survived. 2 we had deaths for. In April 1987, after his arrest, Heidnik attempted to hang himself in his jail cell. But that attempt on his life was unsuccessful. Luckily, because he needed to continue to get his punishments.
Yes. We've sentenced you to live in prison in a tiny cell.
Oh, but no. He was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder, 6 counts of kidnapping, 5 counts of rape. I don't know why it's only 5 counts of... Oh, because the kidnapping, he didn't have time to do Agnes. That's right. That's why it was 5 counts. 4 counts of aggravated assault and 2 counts of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse.
Ooh, that's a... wow.
And this conviction happened on July 1st, 1988. So a year and some change after he was arrested.
Okay.
He was incarcerated at the State Correctional Institution in Pittsburgh and sentenced to death.
Oh, good. I was hoping that he would be sentenced to death because I don't know if anybody knows, but I'm for it.
Yes.
In certain situations.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
This is, yeah. Ugh. He attempted suicide again, though, with an overdose of prescribed Thorazine in January 1989, and that was unsuccessful.
Huh. He's really bad at that.
Yeah. Apparently the whole family, except for the mom, was bad at it.
Well, and she took, I mean, wow.
I mean, that was bad in itself.
That's just like a bad way to go.
Yeah. 10 years later, on July 6th, 1999, graduation, y'all. High school.
We're gonna party like it's 1999.
At the State Correctional Institution in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, he was executed by lethal injection.
Sweet.
He was also the last person to be executed by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So Gary Heidnik and his Real House of Horrors story has become the topic of many fictional characters and sensationalized stories. But let us not forget the victims who lived this trauma. Josefina Rivera, Sandra Lindsay, Lisa Thomas, Deborah Dudley, Jacqueline Askins, and Agnes Adams. Luckily, Agnes was rescued right after her kidnapping and didn't have to really deal with much of that. But there have been several updates on the living victims, and some of them have recounted their stories. There's an interview on YouTube called Heidnik Survivor Tells Her Story in 1990.
Oh my gosh.
And it's Josefina Rivera. It's a very disturbing recollection of events. And I almost think I don't know how she's doing to this day. But I hope that she is happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Because she didn't look so great in this interview. She seemed
probably a rough life after
struggling.
That kind of trauma does not just, you don't just get out of it and go back to a normal life. That haunts you forever. And what happens when you're haunted by shit like that is you turn to ways to numb that.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs, alcohol, whatever.
Yeah. Jacqueline Askins also does some interviews on YouTube, and there are other stories you can find on the interwebs. I didn't want to go into too much detail of the actual months of torture that these women endured because it was just too much to cover.
Right.
But there's several articles about these women if you'd like to read into it more. Especially Josefina Rivera. She dives into it quite a bit.
Really? I don't know if I want to listen to it, but I probably will.
I watched that one YouTube interview where it's just disturbing because it's just hard to hear her have to share this story again, you know?
Right.
Resources, historydaily.org, ranker.com, Murderpedia, and Wikipedia.
Okay.
And then YouTube, all the different little videos.
Fuck.
Oh, guys, I don't know about you, but
that was a doozy. I don't know about you, but Kristen needs more coffee.
I need more coffee. I wish that these were not true stories.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we can all tell that Kristen needs a refill because her mug is it's turning black.
It's only
again.
The ghost bottom.
Yeah, all you can see is ghost butt. Well, that was a doozy. Thanks for torturing all of our souls.
Yeah, and if you want, go read that book, The Basement. It's the true account of this story.
Yeah, definitely make sure that's in your notes because I want to share that one in the description of the episode for sure.
R.J. Parker, he wrote The Basement.
Yikes, dude. All right, is that all we got for this
all I got.
Shining happy episode?
Don't be a shitbag.
Don't be a shitbag for real. All right. Until next time, ta-ta.
For now.
Thanks for listening to Crime, Coffee, and Crafts. If you love our podcast, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. This helps us more than you know. If you really love us and want to support us, go to our website at www.crimecoffeeandcrafts.com. From there, you can join our Patreon, shop our merch, and find us on social media.